And so let's take this conversation further. Keen to hear your thoughts on it as well. What do you make of developments in the Joburg Council? Send us your views via WhatsApp. That number is 072-110-5584, or give us a call on 010-594-6010. To start the conversation off, we are joined by Action SA Johannesburg Secretary Lebo Mokoka in studio. Lebo, good evening to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We will, of course, bring in some of our other speakers. We are joined as well by Belinda Kaiser Echiazonjoku of the Democratic Alliance's caucus, leader of the Joburg caucus. We'll bring her in a moment, but I do want to start with our studio guest for a moment. I mean, just the general sort of feeling inside Action SA this evening as you reflect on what happened in council today. You've lost a speaker, Nobuhle Mthembu. How did we get to a place where Action SA decides that they would abstain from that vote in the motion of no confidence against the mayor?
So what Action SA we are all about is we put our residents first more than anything else. And if you can remember, early this year, civil societies and residents, they marched to the mayor's office and their complaints were basic service delivery failures. And here we are presented with this opportunity. And then the conversation then becomes that we then need to defend the mayor, you know. And we were strongly to say that we can't defend the mayor. He hasn't been delivering. He's not delivering. So therefore, we have to put the residents first and not defend him. And then it meant that we then needed to then lose the speaker. And honestly, if that's what is needed for us to really highlight that we do listen to residents. I mean, for example, the chief whip of council was also in the same pack, you know, and we defended him because there isn't absolutely anything wrong that he's doing, you know. He's doing his job quite well, and they both are in the ANC. So it is not even a matter of the agreement, the coalition agreement, or the working relationship, but it's a matter of issue by issue, and even in the issue by issue, it's what do residents want and how, as Action SA, we can deliver. And what residents really want is service delivery, and it hasn't been happening.
I'm going to ask you to clarify that further, though, because where it was time to vote in the motion of no confidence against the mayor, you abstained, right? It's clear that had you voted one way or another, we would have seen a sort of similar result, right? And you can help me break down the numbers there. But there is the position that Action SA, in speaking for citizens, would have voted for stability by supporting the mayor, or change by voting differently. So why abstain and not make a decision? Because for many people, this may look like Action SA is indecisive and not actually taking a political position at such a critical time.
No, look, it's not even about, with us abstaining, it's a matter of us saying that, yes, we could have voted against, but then we are saying that in our conversations, it is us demonstrating what our conversations in the negotiations went. So, and as well as we have the DA on the other hand, who is an instigator of all of this. And if now we are then standing with the DA, what are we then saying? Because the DA's mission is to destabilize Joburg. So we needed to abstain so that it's clear that, yes, we agree that the mayor is not doing service delivery, but are we then in agreement with the deceive and the lies and everything else that motivated the DA to even initiate all of this? No, we are not in agreement with that. So that's why we then decided that it would be best if we abstain so that our integrity is clear. We are not advocating for chaos. We are not advocating for deceiveness, dishonesty. And if you could check around everything and how the DA went around and instigated this and the promises that were made out there to other parties, really it's not how we want to resolve things.
Yeah. in the previous hour, the ANC speaking to Xoli Mgambi, and they talk about how, at the moment, with the, and I'll say this with inverted commas, the coalition partners that they do have now, without Action SA, they sit with 147 councillors, that they still will be able to pass whatever it is that they need to pass in council, with or without Action SA. You've also now lost your council speaker, Nobuhle Mthembu. Is there a fear at all that Action SA might have lost its relevance in the city of Johannesburg?
Not at all, not at all. Like I said earlier, it's not even a fear that we are losing relevancy. It's about us showcasing. It's about us delivering what we stand on. You know, we stand on integrity. We want the city to work. And that's what we are doing, really. If we lose the speaker, then so be it. It's not like without or with the speaker, it can make any difference of what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
We can achieve what we want to achieve with or without a speaker. Even from opposition, we can still achieve what we want to achieve. So we are not a party that places positions first, but we put residents first. So us not having a speaker does not necessarily mean that we are not relevant.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's bring in the Democratic Alliance. Belinda Kaiser Echiyazonjoku, who is, of course, the DA's Johannesburg caucus leader. Belinda, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You've got the ANC releasing a statement saying that they welcome the defeat of your party's frivolous motions of no confidence in the city of Johannesburg. Just reflections inside the DA this evening on what came out of council today, and perhaps your response to what you hear from Action SA as we speak to Lebo here in studio.
Good evening, and good evening to the guests and the viewers. Well, it's quite disappointing, obviously, to have lost this motion. And I've been hearing what one of your guests have been saying from Action SA. It's quite unfortunate because in a motion of no confidence, when you abstain, you are basically supporting the person that you are supposed to be removing, that you are complaining about, that is not giving service delivery to the residents. Let me start by why we had put the motion of no confidence. We've done quite a bit of consultations, and we've looked at the information that residents are giving us across the 43 wards that we have ward councillors at, and what is the status of service delivery within some of the wards, both the PR wards and the ward councillors that we have, and also at the ward councillors forums. And the overwhelming response we are getting from residents is that the DA is sending strongly worded letters. They're asking us, you are sending strongly worded letters. You are taking people to court. Why are you keeping a mayor that is failing us, the residents of Johannesburg? So we didn't take it lightly. It took us a few months to get to the point where we have said, look, we are going to have to put a motion of no confidence because we have tried to engage with the executive mayor. We have tried to write letters to COCTA. We have raised some of the major issues and concerns that residents have brought to our attention. So we brought this motion at the residents' mandates who are asking us, why are you keeping a mayor that is failing the residents? All your other efforts, writing letters, taking people to court, they still do what they like anyway. Why are you keeping this mayor? And that's the reason why we brought this motion. It took us a few months to get to this point. And that is why we brought this motion. It's not frivolous, and I object and reject the ANC's assertion that they can't be held accountable or they're untouchable. Let me be clear that the ANC is not untouchable. They have not received an outright majority in the city of Johannesburg. The ANC has been in the city since 1996. When Johannesburg became a metro center. As we speak now, Mayor Morero overseen acceleration in the decay of the city, and he has just acknowledged by bringing in a bomb squad and a presidential working group without even briefing council or reports to council, where we are even questioning the legality of it. He has just acknowledged that he is incapable, he's incompetent, and he cannot hold even his own administration to account. the 13 entities in the city of Johannesburg has boards that are packed with cadres. We have just seen that Eskom had to write off quite a bit of money from 830 million rand of city power, while they have a 16 billion rand overdraft and they have a backlog of close to 40 billion rand.
Right.
So this is the mayor that has overseen all of this, and the acceleration of the decay has worsened in the past 10 months because he is doing things on his own, without even any consultation and with impunity. So it's not something that we took lightly. It's because our residents told us, you are making a lot of noise. You are sending out letters that are strongly worded. You are taking people to court, and these people do what they like. Why are you keeping them in office? And that's the reason why we brought the petition.
I think it must be noted, though, that the Democratic Alliance have had their short bouts of leadership in Johannesburg as well, 2021 to 2022, 2022 to 2023, but at the very short bouts, though. But we're going to also hear from the economic freedom fighters and the EFF's very own Joburg leader, Dr. Mgcini Tswaku, joins us now. Dr. Tswaku, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Your response to the results coming out of council, I imagine you weren't excited, you weren't surprised looking at the outcomes of it, but what do you think this does really to the strength of, if you want to call it a coalition, but the partnership of parties working with the ANC in council, especially with the abstaining of Action SA in that motion against the mayor?
No, thank you very much. Good evening to yourself and the viewers at home. Look, what we wanted as the EFF, it is very simple. We wanted to ignore the stability in the administration. This thing of changing leadership every single time is not assisting at all. I know because if you have unstable mayor and an unstable administration, then it actually affects the service delivery. So we, the EFF, we decided to put all the politics aside and actually work in terms of do the service delivery to our guys. So the mayor has been fine in terms of if we have any issues, he's a phone call away. We've got a turnaround strategy in the public safety department. When we have any issues, we do have a discussion. He's a person that can listen, because we don't want any individual that is very astute, very arrogant, and all of that. So he's a very reachable individual, and I think that when he has entered, we're quite moved in terms of creating the stability within the Department of Public Safety. You might have heard also the president of the country has been saying that there's an increased police visibility. There's a sense that the city is a bit safe. Of course, there's much more that can be done. We've actually we've appointed a new chief of police, Chief Chaka. Because we're taking through his efforts, and also that the support, because that in the administration there can be a lot of the red tape, establishment of panels. They're taking too much time to really stabilize the unit. So we're able to really, through the interventions and meetings and all of that, we are able to appoint a bylaw enforcement director. And that the bylaw director, as you've seen in my post, that has been quite on the ground working to ensure that the city bylaws are being obeyed. So look, as the EFF, we wanted some, a proper stability. The motion with the DA, you see, we had to come in and fix the mess of the DA. The department, all the departments, especially public safety and the health, they were on the ground. There was just chaos there as well. The morale was very low. I even came in most of the time that I'm finding actually very difficult in terms of we need to turn around this department for a very long time. So when they come in and say those things, if they put a vote of no confidence in the mayor, they are actually, because we are the extension of the mayor in terms of the MMCs, it means that they're putting a vote of confidence on us. And Some of these people who are coming here, I can tell you right now, we are working together. Myself and the leader, Councillor Belinda, we work very well. Sometimes they, even though sometimes it gets very difficult when they call, there's some pilot needs to be done, operation that needs to be done. We're actually there.
Okay.
So if you put a vote of no confidence in the mayor, it means that a public safety MMC and all the other people is putting a vote of no confidence in ourselves as well.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Twaku, and I actually want to bring this question to all of our panelists, but I want to start with you. You talk about working together. Yes, just moments ago, Xolim Gambi in conversation with Sasabona Manganyo of the ANC and trying to get an answer for him on what the ANC and partners will be doing tomorrow, where the election of the Speaker of Council needs to take place. Perhaps you can give us some sort of sign as to what those murmurs are looking like. Could we see the return of Margaret Arnold?
Look, as the EFF, there's not been any, the discussions as yet. But, we will be participating because we are sitting in the PMC. So I'll be able to really come back in terms of what is the position of the EFF on that issue. But whoever is going to be, it must be the person that is going to be non-partisan, must be neutral, must be able to listen to each and every person. No showing of any arrogance, is able to come to the table and be able to be, there must be a use of some persuasion. There must be no one that will, throw toys when you don't disagree with individuals. They go out there, they come to the media, they talk themselves to the media. Some of the, the disagreements that I had, I remember sometimes I just, when we were having a soccer, and I said, look, then the mayor didn't want to consult us and all of that. And, we just sat down and said, how we're going to be working together on really critical issues. And then from there, I said, no, this is how we're going to be engaged, myself and the mayor, and all of us in terms of that. Now, but you'll find that you've got individuals that are going out there and talking and all those things. So it's not very nice. Yeah.
Sorry, I need our speakers to be quite brief because we've got a lot to get through, hoping to add a few more speakers. But Belinda, let me bring you in here, what the future holds, and two questions that I'm going to throw at you. What conversations for 2026 look like with the murmurs of, Helen Zille being asked to step forward for the position of mayor in Johannesburg, if that brings you some confidence to take on some of the parties in Johannesburg? That's the first question. The second question is, moving forward from now up until those local government elections, what your working relationship is going to look like from the opposition benches, for instance, with Action SA, who, for instance, has had the ANC say, well, we agreed to work together to appoint the city manager with Action SA, and Action SA did not follow through on the agreements that we've made. So what is your working relationship going to be like with Action SA?
Thank you so much. Look, coalition discussions does not happen in the DA. We have a coalition team that comprises of our provincial and our national, our federal leadership. We give input as the councillors in the council as to what our views are, but the actual negotiations happen at our provincial and national leadership with a coalition team that has been put together by our leader. And then with regards to Helen Zille, let me just say this. In the DA, we have a very democratic process. We have a process where whether you are a branch chairperson or you are the leader of the party, you can apply for any positions in government. Whether it is mayor or speaker or chief whip. We have a process where you go through, you apply, you get your interviews, we get assignments. It's a whole process where we have internal contestation first, and we appear before a panel. And this is the same process that will happen with any mayoral candidate. It's not unique. It happened with the previous mayoral candidates that was appointed prior to 2016 and prior to 2021. So that process is currently still ongoing. So we don't have any qualms with anyone applying for being mayor of the city of Joburg. Okay. And Helen, myself, anyone who has applied has every right to apply to be a candidate for the DA for mayor of the city of Johannesburg. And that process is still continuing. We do not have any working relationship with coalition. Let me say this: coalitions in Johannesburg. What we do have is a relationship with the Freedom Front Plus that we speak to all political parties as we need on an issue-by-issue basis where the residents of Johannesburg is concerned and it has to do with service delivery. We engage with everybody in council as service delivery needs to happen. I just want to say this. I heard earlier that Action SA is talking about the fact that it's the DA that met with so-and-so. The DA did not meet with Al Jamal, nor have the DA made any commitments to any political party for any positions in the city of Johannesburg. We, in fact, reached out only to Freedom Front Plus and the ACDP to support our motion, and we are very grateful to them for supporting this motion, even though it was unsuccessful today.
Okay. Lebo, the plan tomorrow for Action SA going into council with the election of a speaker, who are you talking to? What does the game plan look like?
You know, Naledi, that's exactly the problem, because we've got over 80 items that we were supposed to have been dealing with, that we were supposed to have been attending to as the council. But with the games that the DA is playing, we are now forced to neglect our duties to service the residents and step into conversations as to how do we then move forward. And this is the reason why we are saying that we can't really then vote with the DA. Then we needed to abstain. And with Action SA, we were on issue-by-issue basis. And that's what is going to be. It will be issue by issue. Even with the conversations, we will have those conversations to see who then can we put in. And it has to happen urgently, because now the city is at standstill. And who's to blame but the DA?
Yeah, part of the thing about a coalition government, though, is that it is par for the course, one would argue, to have some sort of relationship and be able to lean towards one party or another when you have a coalition government. So for tomorrow morning, who is Action SA going to be calling first?
So you see, that has just happened now in terms of us losing a speaker. And to have a person now that we are going to put tomorrow would be unwarranted for me to answer that. And those conversations are held by the provincial leaders and all of that, as well as the national leadership as well will have those conversations. But what I'm driving to here, Naledi, is that we shouldn't be sitting here, especially with our speaker, because our speaker has serviced the city. Our speaker is engaged in IDPs to understand where the residents are, to understand what the residents needs. And the DA who has placed this motion were nowhere to be seen in these IDPs. So how do we then say that what they are doing, as they are saying, they are doing it for the city? This is just another, PR stance that we know the DA is, capable of doing.
I'm going to assume that I know the answer you're going to give me is that this is a conversation that happens at provincial and national level, but I imagine that it's something that you're thinking about as well. Relationship with the ANC and other coalition partners and what it looks like. Any concerns for Tshwane?
So Tshwane is not affected at all. Action SA is still open for issue by issue as we were. And we lost the speaker because we were issue by issue. We don't know what we are going to gain from the conversations. But even that does not stop us to then engage on issue by issue, because we get the mandate from the residents. We don't get a mandate from negotiations and all of that. So that's why we are sitting here today. That's why we didn't even mind to lose the speaker. So it would be an issue by issue, basically, going forward. The relationship will remain like that. Action SA is open to work with anyone who wants to serve the residents of the city of Joburg.
All right. Lebo Mokoka there is the regional secretary for the City of Johannesburg's Action SA in studio with us. Thanks as well to Belinda Kaiser Echiozo Njoku, as well as she, of course, with the Democratic Alliance, as well as the EFF, Mgcini Tshwaku. Keen to hear your thoughts, though, on the discussion that we've just had, 0721105584, the future for the city of Johannesburg up until those local government elections, the mayor staying on after that failed motion of no confidence, but now Action SA losing council speaker Nobuhle Mthembu. What you make of Action SA's very own politics? Get in touch with us via WhatsApp or give us a call. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we hear from the mayor himself, Dada Morero, about his views on developments in council. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we continue with our top story, which is, of course, the Johannesburg mayor, Dada Morero, surviving a no-confidence vote. He has described the DA-sponsored motion as an attempt to destabilise the city. He joins us for more. But just before we chat with him, let's take a look at some of the WhatsApps that have come in reaction to these developments from our viewers. Sibungobo says, abstaining was a political suicide for Action SA. It goes to show the serious lack of political direction and decisiveness from Mashaba. Sbu, thank you so much for sending that in. Bongani says, congratulations to the man of integrity. He survived because of his vision and commitment to turn things around in Jozi. He has demonstrated that he is the face of change. Even the opposition in the LGU do acknowledge his leadership and are on the right track on his turnaround strategy. Okay, Bongani, thanks for that. Mukwebo says, those continuous motions of no confidence don't help us as the community, but scoring cheap political points. We as citizens need stability in service delivery. They can fight their political battles, not using our votes. That's disrespectful to the citizen.